We're going to get started in the nation's capital, where President Joe Biden reversed course when it comes to his son, Hunter Biden. The president issued a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter, who faced sentencing this month for federal tax and gun convictions. The pardon means Hunter Biden won't be sentenced for his crimes, and it also eliminates any chance that he'll be sent to prison. In fact, the pardon explicitly grants clemency for the tax and gun offenses from his existing cases, plus any potential federal crimes that Hunter Biden may have committed dating as far back from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, which was just a day ago. The time frame is specific because it covers Hunter's work overseas with Ukraine, China, and other foreign business dealings, okay? Here's a part of President Biden's statement in regards to the move. Quote, "Today, I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough," end quote. Now, Biden's opponents, which include President-elect Donald Trump, have repeatedly said Hunter should be prosecuted for his activities in Ukraine and elsewhere. Respectfully, to the President of the United States, specifically as it pertains to that statement, you're full of it. I'm going to look right here over the national airwaves and look the President of the United States in the face and saying you're full of it. Not because you let your son off. Any decent father would do that. Never mind the business dealings that was going on in Ukraine and China and other places. While you were vice president under the Obama administration, I'm not talking about that. This is not a complaint about Hunter Biden getting off. I said weeks ago, you damn right you should let him off. He's your son. And he's a recovering addict. And he's battled those demons for years. And the fact that you let your son off, I totally understand. Donald Trump would have let his son off. Anybody would have. Or at least most people. I understand that. That's not the issue, sir. The issue, and why I say you're full of it, is because of the excuse you gave. A simple statement. That's my son. I have the power to pardon him, to grant him clemency, whatever. That's what I'm doing. Y'all kick rocks. That'd have been good enough for me. That's your son. That's your son. That's your flesh and blood. That's your child. And as you pointed out, he's battled a lot of demons. He's gone through a lot. I get it. But what's all of that other stuff you said about? You highlighting the transgressions and talking about how, oh my goodness, if it were anybody else, it would not have been considered or classified as a felony. If it was somebody else, they would have got off. Well, you ain't somebody else. You were the vice president. And obviously, considering the crimes that he was being accused of, I understand the gun charge, I understand tax charges, but the things that they were investigating in terms of his dealings with Ukraine, his dealings with China, and whatever purported money was funneled to the Biden family, considering all of those things, those are valid things that warrant an investigation. And again, if you don't want to you don't want it investigated and you want to let him off, President Biden, no problem. Just say that. That's my son. That's my son. That ain't what you said. You tried to highlight how innocent he is. Damn near called him a paragon of virtue. But what did you do to Donald Trump? See, we want to sit up here and everybody was afraid to talk about it leading up to the election. Or even when we were willing to talk about it, we had to dance the dance. We had to go around, up the block, around the damn corner, come right back around and vaguely get into stuff. We had to point out the 34 felony convictions. We had to talk about the 2 impeachments. We had to talk about the abundance of allegations that took place, including an election fall and citing an insurrection and all of this other stuff. We had to talk about all of that. But conveniently, it was coming down the pike like a damn tsunami when you knew you were going to have to run against them. You didn't talk about this then. A matter of fact, you specifically said you wouldn't pardon your son. Before the election. You're announcing it now that we know that Donald Trump is coming in and about to be sworn in as the 47th president. You were intending to do this all along, which again is no problem, but it doesn't make you any less full of it. Because when you look at Donald Trump and how the Democrats went after him, you do understand that the Democrats are no longer in a position to say anything, right? You can talk till the cows come home. You whistling into the wind. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party. Because when you pardon your son, going back on your word, telling the American people there was no way that you were going to pardon him when everybody and their grandmama knew you were lying but didn't hold you accountable for it. And now you've confirmed what people believed, that you were probably going to be lying about that very thing that you said you wouldn't do for your son. All you had to do was say, he's my son. I can't let him go to jail. What's the matter with y'all? Do I got to act like Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live? And another thing, and by the way, is that what I got to do? All you had to do was say, that's my son. I'm not sending him to jail. I have the power to pardon him and to bring him home with me when I walk away from the White House, ending my political career. I'm taking my son home with me. Everybody would understand that. That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. Instead, you had to try to come across like he was victimized because of you, like you're so innocent, like you're such a paragon of virtue. And as a result, now you've brought more skepticism in the direction of the Democratic Party. Why? Because you show you're no different than the other side, which you were accusing of everything. Y'all went after Donald Trump for everything but tying his shoelaces on the right way. You raked him through the coals. You threw him under the bus. You did everything to him. And I'm in no way trying to act like he's some innocent bystander in all of this. But when the word hypocrisy comes up, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it.